I thought I cured my dad's grief. Then the company told me to kill him. The thing in my living room wearing my father's face just snapped the leg off a cherrywood end table. I heard the wood crack from up here, a sound like a gunshot, followed by a splintering crash. He's using it to beat against my bedroom door now. It's the door I grew up with, the one with pencil marks on the frame, tracking how tall I was each year. He put those marks there. The thuds are deep, resonant. They shake the whole floor. In between each impact, I can hear him breathing. A wet, ragged, hungry sound. He's not shouting my name, he's whispering hers. Linnea. My mother. Over and over again, like a prayer. My life wasn't supposed to be this. A year ago, I was packing boxes. I had a security deposit down on a little studio apartment across town. A job offer sitting in my inbox. Then Mom's heart just stopped. An aneurysm they called a ticking time bomb no one knew was there. And with her, my father Casimir went too. He just didn't have the decency to die. She was his gravity. They were disgustingly in love, the kind of couple that held hands at the dinner table and still slow danced in the kitchen. When she was gone, he became unmoored. The grief wasn't a wave that washed over him, it was an ocean that swallowed him whole. At first I told myself I'd stay for a month, just to get him through the worst of it. But the worst never ended. He quit his job. He unplugged the phone. The man who taught me how to rebuild a carburetor and name the constellations was replaced by a silent statue, sitting in his armchair, staring at the empty space beside him. Then he stopped eating. He stopped leaving the chair. Then the bed. Doctors came and went, tapping their pens on their clipboards. They ran scans, took blood. Physically, he's healthy as an ox, one told me, which felt like a cruel joke. It's a profound grief response. He's chosen to check out. He was a skeleton with a heartbeat. I learned to manage his IV drip, to turn him so he wouldn't get bed sores, to clean the filth from a body that no longer cared about its own dignity. For the last 6 months before the package arrived, he hadn't said a word. The house was a tomb, and I was its lonely groundskeeper, waiting for the last occupant to finally expire. Then, 3 weeks ago, a call from a number I didn't recognize. "Good afternoon," a woman's voice said. It was smooth, unnervingly serene, like a meditation app. Am I speaking with Io, the primary caretaker for Casimir? A chill went through me. Who is this? I'm with a private research group specializing in psychosensory therapy, she said, completely unfazed. We've been monitoring your father's case. We believe we have a treatment that can restore his cognitive and emotional functions. His case is private, I snapped. How did you get his information? I'm calling the police. I assure you our methods are discreet, she continued, her voice never losing its placid calm. Please, Io, consider the alternative. The doctors have given up. You are providing palliative care. He is dying, slowly and without dignity. We are offering you a solution, a way to bring him back. Her words cut right through the anger, right to the bone-deep exhaustion beneath it. She was right. I was watching him die by inches. What kind of solution? My voice was a croak. In cases of extreme psychological trauma, the psyche loses its anchor to the present. It becomes adrift in the past. Our therapy creates a new anchor, a powerful, familiar sensory input to tether the subject back to reality. The treatment is still in its final clinical trial, so there would be no cost to you. Free. A miracle cure. It screamed scam, but I looked from the phone towards the silent bedroom, at the husk of my father lying in the perpetual twilight, and my desperation clawed its way past my reason. What do you need? A biological sample from the focus of the grief. Your mother, Linnea. Something she was in constant contact with, something that would hold her essence. A piece of well-worn clothing is perfect. A scarf, perhaps. The thought was grotesque, a violation. But what was one more violation in a house already so full of death? That night, I opened my mother's armoire. Her scent, lavender, and old books washed over me, a ghost's embrace. I pulled out her favorite silk scarf, a deep blue patterned with small white flowers. I held it in my hands, my knuckles white. It felt like I was robbing her grave. I sealed it in a plastic bag, put it in a box, and mailed it to the P.O. box she'd given me. 10 days later, a small, matte black box appeared on the porch. No markings, no return address. Inside, nestled in charcoal-colored foam, was a bottle. It was heavy, made of a glass so dark it seemed to drink the light, with a polished silver atomizer. A small card lay beside it, printed with a single, sterile instruction. Administer one spray into the subject's immediate vicinity, once every 24 hours. My hand was shaking as I uncapped it. I sprayed a tiny amount into the air. The scent that bloomed was overwhelming. It was a symphony of memory. It wasn't just her perfume. It was the faint, clean smell of her skin after a shower, the hint of ozone on her coat after a walk in the rain, the ghost of cinnamon from her baking. It was my mother, distilled and bottled, an impossible, perfect phantom. I went to my father's room. He was staring at the ceiling, his breathing a shallow whisper. I stood a few feet away and pressed the atomizer. A fine, shimmering mist settled over him. His eyes snapped into focus. The vacant, thousand-yard stare vanished. For the first time in a year, he looked at me. A spark of life ignited in the dull gray of his irises. He took a breath, a deep, shuddering gasp that filled his lungs. "Io?" he rasped. His voice was cracked, brittle from disuse. Tears blinded me. I could only nod. "I had the strangest dream," he said, his eyes darting around the room, taking it all in. "Where's your mother? Is she making breakfast?" The question was a knife in my heart, but he was asking. He was here. He was back. The next few weeks were a resurrection. Each morning, the ritual of the spray. Each day, he was more himself. He started eating again, ravenously. He stood, he walked, he talked. The weight came back, the color returned to his cheeks. The ghost was gone. My father was home. We grieved together. We talked about her, cried about her. It was healthy. It was right. Our house, silent for so long, was filled with his laughter again. I was dizzy with relief, with a gratitude so profound it felt holy. Whatever this strange company was, they were saviors. But after the initial joy settled, I began to see the strings. His good cheer was relentless. He never had a bad day. He never seemed to look at her picture with sadness, only a sort of pleasant nostalgia. He spoke of her in the present tense. "We should ask your mother what she thinks," he'd say, "or Linnea would love this weather." It was a small thing, a crack in the perfect facade, but it unsettled me. He wasn't a man who had processed his grief. He was a man who had forgotten it existed. He was entirely dependent on the little black bottle. He'd wake up confused, a shadow of the old vacancy in his eyes. He'd wander the hall, listless and lost, until I gave him his morning spray. Then, like a switch being flipped, he'd straighten up, smile, and say, "Good morning, sunshine. What a beautiful day." He was a clockwork man, and the scent was his key. Yesterday morning, I picked up the bottle. It felt terrifyingly light. I shook it. Almost nothing sloshed inside. Maybe 2 sprays left. A cold dread, heavy and metallic, filled my stomach. I gave him his spray. I had to tell him. "Dad," I said, my voice tight. The spray. We're almost out." The change was instantaneous. The warm, smiling man was gone. The thing that looked back at me had a predator's eyes, wide with a raw, primal panic. "No," he whispered. "No, it can't be. I need it. I need her." "It's okay," I said, reaching for his hand. "You're strong now. You don't need it. You don't understand." He roared, a sound torn from his throat. He grabbed my wrist, his grip unbelievably strong. "I can't lose her again. I can't." It wasn't grief. It was addiction. It was a junkie's rage. He spent the day in a paranoid frenzy, pacing the rooms, checking the bottle, accusing me of hiding more from him. This morning, I gave him the last dose. The calm washed over him, but it was horrifying to watch. I knew what was coming. I spent hours redialing the company's number, which had always been disconnected before. Finally, this afternoon, it clicked through. not to a person, to a recording. The same serene female voice. Thank you for your interest. Due to unforeseen complications in our final trial phase, all operations have been permanently ceased. We are no longer offering our services. No, please, I begged the machine. If you are a current client whose regimen has been depleted, the voice continued, its tone flat and emotionless, we offer our sincerest apologies. Further synthesis is not possible. It has been determined that abrupt cessation of the sensory anchor results in catastrophic psychological decoherence. The subject's neural pathways become irreparably dependent. They will not recover. The resulting decline will be rapid, aggressive, and irreversible. The recording paused. Our final advisory for caretakers in this situation is to ensure your own safety. If containment is not possible, we recommend Protocol Omega. It is the only humane option. Thank you for your participation. We are sorry for your loss. The line went dead. An hour ago, the scent wore off. That's when he started screaming for her. That's when he broke the table. Now he's at the door. I dragged my dresser in front of it, but it's old wood. It groans with every impact. The whisper has stopped. Now it's just the thudding, heavy, rhythmic, and a new sound, a scraping, scratching noise. His fingernails, I think, tearing at the wood, trying to dig his way through to me. The company's words echo in my head. Protocol Omega. A clean corporate word for an unthinkable act. He's not my father anymore. The cure didn't just anchor him, it chained his soul to a ghost, and now that the ghost is gone, the chain is strangling what's left of him. Is it mercy to cut it? The wood of the door just split. A long, jagged crack from top to bottom. I can see a sliver of the hallway through it. I can see his eye, wild and bloodshot, staring in at me. I'm holding the heaviest thing I could find, a cast iron skillet from the kitchen. It feels cold and absolute in my hands. He's gonna get in. He's gonna get in soon. What do I do? Dear God, what do I do?